Hi, I'm Scott Samuel here at the Culinary Institute of America at Greystone, and I'm here with Karen Buch, registered dietitian and nutritionist, and we're going to talk about the importance of breakfast.
Well, one thing that experts can agree on is that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. When you think about it, we're fasting for 8 to 12 hours. So both our brains and our bodies really need to refuel. So a balanced breakfast is one of those ways that you can jumpstart the metabolism, which is so important for weight management too. So what do you have for us today, Scott?
Well, we're going to make a frittata, and it's focused on eggs, of course, but I'm using a lot of vegetables that I would have normally in my refrigerator. And we're going to cook it in a cast iron pan, and this is something that I might consider a crustless quiche because it's got the flavor profile, but it doesn't have the calories or the fat content. So I'm going to start with these two items, the scallions and the shallots, which are in an onion family. And I like to cook these down to take away the sting of the onion. And then once these have cooked down, we can go ahead and start adding the other ingredients in sequence. So I'm cooking this on about medium heat. I have my oven preheated already to 350 degrees. So once I've done all the cutting and chopping and my ingredients are in front of me, it'll take about 10 minutes to get this into the oven ready to bake. We'll bake it for another 10 minutes, and then it should be ready to serve. This is pretty much what I'm looking for. I want to get a little bit of color, but the whole concept here is just to cook the sting off the vegetable. If I was to add this raw, my frittata would taste like raw onions or raw shallots, and I don't want that. So a little bit of color here, and then I want to saute the zucchini. So sauteing this will give it some extra flavor. And you could do an oven roasted vegetable. So what I've done here, these are grilled vegetables. And let's say the night before you had grilled vegetables, there were some leftovers, save those leftovers. These vegetables have a lot of flavor because of the grilling on it. And then in place of the zucchini, we could add some grilled vegetables. So I'm just looking for these diced zucchini to become a little translucent, a light amount of color before I add the next ingredient, which will be our Swiss chard. And this is a green Swiss chard that we've just taken the stems off and chopped roughly, rinsed a couple times.
When you think about the basis of a frittata, in addition to all of these vegetables, it's eggs, right? And
Yes.
eggs, every egg is going to give 6 grams of protein. And a high protein breakfast really helps to curb the appetite all day long.
So we'll let that go down a little bit more. Let's work with our eggs, if you wouldn't mind passing that to me.
Sure.
And the whisk. All right, so we're going to do a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper, and we're going to do about a half a cup of this cheese. I kind of want to whisk this up. This is the base of the frittata. I like to have cheese in the frittata so that it kind of helps it hold together, the structure. And the salt is in here to help kind of denature the proteins a little bit, in addition to giving it some flavor.
And you're using Parmesan, which is going to give all that umami, additional flavor. And I think the sharpness of the cheese, again, when you can get things that are healthful and also flavorful, folks are more likely to come back and make it again. So
Excellent.
great cheese choice.
We are getting nice color. Color equals flavor. This is a one-pan frittata.
And this is an important step not to overdo it, right? You're cooking it, but you're watching it carefully to keep that nice bright
and
green
I'm doing
color.
it in sequence. So we did green onions, shallots, yellow squash, chard. It's all in sequence, so they all have to cook. And right now, the color on the shallots is developing a little bit more because we've had it in the pan longer. So yeah, this part's important. And then we're going to go with our asparagus, red peppers, and then this cooking process, you can see a lot of steam. I'm trying to cook off a lot of the moisture, which is concentrating the flavor of the vegetables. I'm going to add a little bit of spinach. So I'm going to turn down the heat here a little bit. I'm going to do half the cooking, maybe a third of the cooking in the pan until it just starts to set on the side, and then we'll set it in the oven.
And the eggs really are the star of the frittata. You can't have a frittata without eggs. And we think about the high protein value that the eggs bring. By having a high protein breakfast, that's what curbs the appetite all day long, as our latest research in satiety is showing us. And some people will ask, how much protein is enough? That 25 to 30 gram range is really what you're trying to hit. But I think consumers really want ideas on how to bring those together with a meal like this. So the frittata, one serving plus the Greek yogurt plus the berries that we're planning to serve this with.
Probably be 4 to 5 minutes, maybe a little longer, just till we start it to set. And I've turned down the heat down to low. I don't want to burn the eggs. I just want to cook them slowly until they set. But while I'm doing this, we're going to make a kind of a cool design on top.
All right.
So just taking some sliced tomatoes. I just like this design. It's fun. You don't have to do this. This is just an added feature. If we do basil leaves, and then we'll do mozzarella so that it melts the basil. And you can see that we're getting some of the eggs cooking around the edges. That's what it should look like. We'll do two in the middle. Let me put a little bit of Parmesan on the top of this. And let's set it up another couple minutes before we pop this into the oven. You can kind of see right around here where it's bubbling. I know that I'm getting to that stage, and then I can shake it, and I see that my edges are firmed up. So just a couple minutes, and we'll pop it in the oven. I've got that at 350, and we'll bake it till it's set. It's about 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
This is what it should look like. All right, so we see we're just kind of puffing on the edges right here, and some of the moisture's coming through. Our cheese is melted. This is just right. We're gonna let this kind of relax and rest for a couple minutes, and then we'll cut into it. Typically about 5 minutes. I want it to cool off, just so that it comes together. And in the meantime, let's put together this parfait together.
Sure.
So pairing a parfait with the frittata. Tell me about that.
Well, the frittata in and of itself actually delivers the 25 grams of protein that we're trying to reach. But by pairing it with some Greek yogurt, you're going to boost it just a bit more, and then the berries, so that this breakfast really will be a way to get protein combined with vegetables and fruits, and that's where a lot of Americans really aren't getting enough. So I think this is a way to do it in a really delicious way.
Yeah, so this is just simple Greek yogurt with berries that have been tossed in a little bit of honey. Yeah, and there is some effort making this frittata, but think about, if you're cooking for 2 or 4 people, you're still gonna have half of one of these left over. And I'll typically chill it and then either put it in the toaster oven for a few minutes just to warm it up. But yeah, this holds very well.
That looks great.
A little bit of Parmesan right there, and that's good to go. All right, so there you have it, our vegetable frittata with a little fruit parfait.
And it's protein packed and satisfying. Thanks so much, Scott.
My pleasure. Enjoy.